Fear is the enemy.
But you see the music box.
Whatever it is that you're going for, man, go hard. And hold on, never give up. You gotta have that mentality, man. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up. And you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind who you wanna be. I know who I am, know what I want. Live by 2 words, mama mentality. And that's word to my mom, word to my pops, word to my little bro. They said make your mistakes, but don't make excuses on why you can't live and learn. On a couple occasions I damn near went broke. I'm chasing this music thing, and I ran out of hope. I threw in the towel, said fuck the hole in the street. I kept on writing and touring. I picked up a job cause I knew it was important. The money I made, I would stash it away just to fund my recordings. And I didn't wanna stop cause I didn't know how. I would lay in my room by myself late at night, and I finally figured it out. I just wanna be the best version of me, make all the music that I wanna make. I don't care what nobody gon' say. You miss all of the shots you don't take. And the answer is no, if you don't ask. If it gets hard, this too shall pass. God is my witness and he got the plan. He got the plan. I put in the work, I spent a lot of time on the waiting list. Never complained, I ain't never said shit. Shoot my shot, no fear if I miss. Imagine you chasing a dream that you love, only to find out it wasn't enough. You fall on your face, but you get right back up. And you fall back again, but you get right back up, yeah. That's the way that it's always been. Don't nobody care about the grind but you. Nobody putting in the time but you. Make up your mind who you wanna be. I know who I am, know what I want. Live by 2 words, mama mentality. Yeah. Remember, man, you only in competition with yourself. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. Pleasure and pain. R.I.P. the greatest. 0824.
Check 1 2. What's going down, y'all? It's your buddy DH. Let's make sure I'm able to be heard real quick before we move any further. Okay. We up and running. Welcome, guys, to another episode of Circle Talk. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support us as we continue to ride this journey into talking about and talking with good people doing great things in our community all across the world. And today I'm really excited to catch up with a young man that has been involved in music for a long while. I've seen him on many different stages, many different platforms, and in many different facets of his journey. And he didn't even know it. But you know what? That's the beautiful thing about moving in silence. You can always tell the ones that are doing good work versus the ones that are on the opposite side of the world. And this young man has been doing amazing work all across the world. So I'm really excited to bring in our guest for today, J Charles Phillips. But first, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors because this would not be possible without you guys. So I want to give a huge shout out to iShotya.com, my good friend Marvin Patterson. If you guys are looking for someone to get your pictures done and get your pictures done right, and you are somewhere in the Washington area, hit up my guy Marvin Patterson, let him know I sent you, and he will get you done at a reasonable price. Obviously, you see the pictures of my girls and my son behind me. He's taking all the pictures in this house. And obviously, he knows what he's doing. So if you have not got your pictures done yet, hit up iShotya.com and he'll get you done. Next, we want to give a huge shout out to Intentions Juice and Smoothies Bar. Thank you so much, Marquita Evans. She is doing such an amazing job elevating our community by not just bringing these Black owned businesses together here in Tacoma, out in Seattle, and she's working on a third one here in Tacoma. But she's also creating a lane to do the exact same thing that I'm doing, elevating good people and giving them an opportunity to be recognized by creating a drink each week for a person that has been nominated or shown to be asset to our community. She has been given each of these individuals a week to create their own drinks and highlight them and share them out to their people so that they can go and support that individual and that drink that that individual created. Shout out to her for giving me the opportunity to do the same thing. I created a drink called the Strawberry Circle Swag. So if you are in Tacoma, Lakewood, Seattle, Everett, anywhere around, you can go in there and order that Strawberry Circle Swag drink, and just let them know, hey, I sent you, and she'll give you a nice little discount on that. So thank you, Marquita. Thank you, Marvin Patterson. Thank you, all of you, for continuing to grind and be a part of this conversation. But this isn't about us. It's obvious about our guest today. So we're going to go ahead and bring Mr. J Charles Phillips in. So welcome. Check one.
Bienvenidos. Hello, hello, hello.
How you doing, my guy?
Man, everything's good. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here, and I'm
Yes, sir.
excited. I'm excited to get into this conversation with you, man, because I like I said earlier when we was talking, I've seen you in many facets of life, moving and just doing it in a very professional and intricate way. To where I see a lot of people, including myself, doing exactly what I'm doing now, is getting to know you on a different level of not just professionalism, but you're a good dude because you love the kids, and you've obviously highlighted that with within your Facebook, your Instagram, and I found some pictures of you just working with the kids. And so I wanted to get in and talk to you about music and youth empowerment. You ready?
Uh, yeah,
Are
let's
you
get
ready?
into it, bro.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
All right. So really quick, let's do a rewind because obviously most of us that are watching know a little bit about you being a music mogul and musician. You can sing, you play instruments, you do some producing, you do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You got your hands in everything. But
Yeah.
let's talk about where it all started for you, brother. Are you where were you born? Are you originally from here? Mom's, dad, brothers, sisters, any of that stuff. Let's talk about where it all started for you.
Well, um, mom and pops were military. They met in a choir way back when. They got married. Actually, they just celebrated 41 years of marriage last week, I want to say. Yeah, very proud of that. And yeah, they got married. Had me, born and raised in Tacoma, Tacoma,
Hey,
and around about. Spent a lot of my time on the north side of Tacoma at a spot called True Vine Church of God in Christ.
absolutely.
That's where it all started for me. Um, in church, I didn't really want to be an usher, but you had to do something. So
Yeah,
um, the drums was already taken, so I just picked up the piano and took it from there. Then grew up and grew in doing a whole lot of churches where everything musically was molded for me.
yeah,
Um, then I also in elementary, middle school, and high school, I was in jazz and symphonic band, which
yep,
got me into the technicality of music, learning the notes and learning music and theory and whatnot. Um, let's say after high school, it was a dream of mine to move to Atlanta and intern for So So Def.
Oh,
My
okay.
parents had a different plan for my life though. So
Absolutely.
I I went to Eastern Washington University where I graduated with my degree in communications.
Yes.
And then yeah, it was cool. It was a cool little time out there in Spokane. But I always knew I wanted to do music. I took that degree because I knew that in some way, shape, form, or fashion, whether it be on the stage or in the background, I was going to be involved in music. So that communications degree taught me a lot about business and presenting and contract writing and things of the sort.
Mhm.
So got my degree, I graduated, did well. And then soon after that is when I started touring. I moved back to Seattle soon after, um, and it was 2007, and that was the recession, start of the recession.
Yeah.
And you got these whole dreams that you're going to go to college and get a job. Wasn't
Absolutely.
nobody hiring. Wasn't
No.
nobody hiring. So we had to get creative. So I was like, well, my brother played the drums. I was like, man, let's get a band together because it wasn't, I in Seattle, the band I knew at the time was like Goodie Bag, you
Okay.
know.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
Goodie Bag was the band, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Goodie Bag was the band, but then at the same time, you know what I'm saying, I knew that there was seats at the table or else I had to make a chair, right? So I was like, "Hey,"
Right.
you know what I'm saying, "Let's start another band," you know what I mean? So that's what it was. So, I believe Goodie Bag was we were started in Queen Anne, Goodie Bag was up the hill. Um, I forget the name of the spot, it's forgive me, but our first spot that we hit was with, Troy Wright. He had a spot called the Scotta Bistro right there at the bottom of Queen Anne where Toulouse Petite is now,
Okay.
on that
Yeah.
little strip, right?
Seattle. Yep.
So yeah, yeah. So that's where it began. And then we, migrated from Queen Anne to Columbia City to Belltown to all around Seattle, Wallingford, Babalu. That was a time. Babalu was like that was like the heyday to me because that's
Spot.
when yeah, that was a spot, man. That was a spot, man. Like everybody came through and they knew like, that was the jam session to come to. You know what I mean? And like it was always love, you know what I mean? Like people just gravitated into that little shack and we had a good time. Um
Let me ask you
yeah.
something. I don't,
hmm
I don't, I'm not trying to cut you off, but let me ask you something because I really have to hear this answer. What what did your parents feel? How did they feel when you decided, you know what, hey mom and dad, I'm gonna start, singing secular music or performing secular music. How did they take that idea of you getting in that realm of things?
And they've been very supportive. They've been
Really?
very supportive because they know I'm not making trash. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Like, um, a lot of my music is reminiscent of the old R&B, where it's very sapiosexual. You know what I mean? Like it's wordplay. It's insinuations rather than direct. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have to think about what it is to be like, oh, that's what he said. All right. You know what I mean? So they you know they're very supportive. You know what I'm saying?
It's good.
One day for them, they never ask, but I'll do a gospel album, a song, or something like that when
Yeah,
it comes on me. But like I just they're very supportive of me being a creative.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well,
Mhm.
so let's talk about when did you, I mean, because you obviously said as you were kind of explaining the upbringing that you knew at one point you decided, yo, this is what I want to do. Obviously, mom's was a singer, dad was a singer, right? Both of them.
Mhm. Mhm.
When did you realize, you know what? I see mom and dad doing it, I can do that as well. Like when did you just instantly be like, you know what, I can do this, but I can do this next level, do it. Like when
Man,
did that
I was young. I was young. Yeah, no, I knew early. I remember knowing when I watched the making of the Thriller VHS tape.
wow.
and how enamored I was not only just by the video, but the
Yeah.
process of making the video and the people who were involved in making the video, you know what I mean? And actually the thought process of why the video came to be. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like that's the type of stuff that I was like really, really into. And like I wasn't really into award shows, but I loved watching concerts. Like
Okay.
like watching like Usher's 8201
Yeah.
VHS or any like gospel concert, John P. Key, Ricky Dillard, you know what I mean, like Clark Sisters, anything like that. Like I knew that I wanted to perform on stage some way, shape, form, or fashion.
That's cool. You know,
Yeah,
it's interesting you went back to the Thriller because I don't even know if a lot of people remember when the Thriller, song came out with the video, and then they did have a episode of showing the making of Thriller and how amazing
yeah.
it was. People don't know how like astronomical it was, how before the time Thriller was. Like Michael Jackson and his team creating that way before it was even thought of,
I mean,
making
the crazy thing about it is, it's like he knew. Kinda like what I said earlier about there being, saying not so many bands at the time, like, he knew that there was room, saying at the table, you know what I mean? He knew that, uh, he could produce something that can compete with what was being delivered, you know what I mean? And he had the mind to get the right people in the right place to make it happen,
absolutely.
you know what I
Absolutely.
mean? He had Marlon Brando
Yeah.
read that thing at the end, like, who does that? Like, "Hey, man, I want you to come read this for me." "Okay, cool, bro, let's do it," you know?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He
Yeah.
made timeless videos, timeless music that, will
Yeah.
be played, long after we're gone. They're still be playing those songs, you know what I
Oh
mean?
man, yeah, no,
Yeah,
for real. My niece and nephew, you know what I mean. They're already into it, so it's like it's transgenerational. And that's the inspiration that got me to be where I am for real.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
let's talk about you and what you're doing right now. I obviously have I'm gonna skip a place where I wanted to be, and I'm gonna jump into you. Like I know you've been working on some music.
Hmm.
Um, talk to me about the inspiration about what you're working on right now.
Man, let me tell you. I think we have to rewind to the pandemic. So
Okay, let's
because
rewind.
because I think that was a quiet time that
Yes, it,
offered a lot of space and opportunity to create. You know what I mean? Like that was a time where studios weren't accessible. Or,
mhm,
you couldn't really book no time. So it was incumbent upon me to build. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so, yeah, from there, I just, took from what I knew from being in the studio and just translated into the home and like really learned the nuances of recording vocals and programming and things of the such. And with that, came out with 4 singles that I just put out as fillers to folks, and it got a pretty good response. You know what I mean? I probably could have did better marketing, but at the same time, you know, the Wheelhouse was doing it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And with that, came some time and some obstacles, and now I'm in a place to where I say I'm working on my audio journal. You know, I
yeah,
think that well, I know life brings experience, right? And
absolutely.
with that comes lessons learned. So with that comes, art, I guess. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's where we are. We are in the midst of creating an EP, um, and it's moving in the right direction.
That's awesome. Well, I've obviously listened to a little bit of it. I've been listening to it today.
Mm,
So I'm excited to hear the new stuff. I've been, sifting through some of the files,
word,
and I'm excited
word.
what you do, man. I think you're very, very talented young man, and I know that you're gonna put out some timeless music, um, that will bring us back to what real R&B is, and neo soul is truly is, and I'm excited for that. So let's talk about, where did this idea, where did you and Dwele kind of, you know, en- end up meeting to do these shows that you have been doing with him? Because I don't know if anybody out there, if you guys haven't heard, yeah, this man be going out and performing and doing it well with a man that has made a huge name for himself all over the world. And Dwele, shout out to him. Talk a little bit about this transformation of you doing you to you guys doing you guys together, and how that has blossomed since the first time you guys met.
Man, happenstance, I guess I'll say. Like, like I said, at the time we were, working very hard as a local band, you know what I mean? Like we were pretty much everywhere. An opportunity to present itself to where we got to open up for Dwele. And from there a relationship came. I remember after the set, we were just kind of vibing and chilling. I saw a picture of that day, and it's just crazy. It was 2010. It was 2000. It was March 2010. It just came up in my memories. It's crazy. Um, and I remember sitting down having a conversation, and he asking me, he's like, "Man, so like, where do you want to take this? Where do you want to take this music thing?" And I was like, "I don't see anywhere this can't go. Like, we can take this to Mars if you want to. Like, what you talking about?" And it's like, all right, you know what I mean? And, and from there, the relationship, the bridge was built. And then, to be honest with you, after that, things got quiet. I didn't hear nothing.
Oh
I didn't hear nothing for a good, like, year and a half. A
yeah,
good year and a half, you know what I mean? Because, maybe like, a lot of times, you meet cats. And I played for a lot of artists, you know what I'm saying, who, um, they're like, oh, yeah, you're great. Da, 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 Hollywood talk. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks.
cool. And so at that time, I was, steady doing me, right? You know what I mean? Like, it don't stop. We got to keep going. You know what I mean? So I wasn't deterred. I wasn't discouraged. I was like, well, we just got to make it happen. Like, he knows who I am, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. It's a year and a half passed. And I remember having like a week's worth of gigs, like lined up. Like I had it all set. Couple weddings was in there too.
Yeah.
And I get this call from a 313 number, Detroit. And I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? And it's like, man, so we're about to go on tour in a couple weeks. You trying to roll? Uh, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of stuck, deer in the headlights. What do I do? What do I
Right.
do? So I called my friend, my homeboy Rick, man, and he was like, man, what are you thinking? And I said, he said, what are you thinking? You better go to Detroit. Because I was almost not going to go because I didn't want to disappoint what I had already,
Yeah, you had
saying, laid.
already had
Yeah, you
stuff
know what I
going
mean?
on.
Saying a reputation, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I always want to do good business.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
like I had to, I had to tell a couple brides, like, yo, like, what do you want me to do?
Right.
Like, I want to be there for you, but at the same time, if I say no to this, like, I'm not gonna be happy.
Opportunity of the
So
life.
yeah,
Couldn't.
it really was. It
Yeah,
really was. It really was. Didn't make everybody happy, but that was a lesson learned in that moment is that you're not. What I'm saying, as you progress and what I'm saying, chase your dreams, it's gonna be some people that you're gonna have to disappoint. And it's just part of the situation.
absolutely.
But yeah, yeah, that
Hey,
was
let me.
good.
That's interesting that you said your whole story. It reminds me of a good friend that you may know, which I do think you know him pretty well, Mr. Rocky Sandoval. Me and him, we
Hey,
both.
no, listen, no. Rocky Sandoval. Me and Rocky go back to junior high.
Oh wow, what? I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Shout out to Rocky.
yeah,
That's my dude, man. Like
yeah. I love
me and
Rocky.
Rocky
That's my
weren't
that's my
friends like
brother.
when we first met.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we were
That's
both
my
doing
brother.
the same thing, bruh. We was
Uh
both doing
huh.
the same thing, and we both were opening up for Genuine. You probably heard the story. Me and him was both opening up for Genuine, and I was first, and he was the last one to go before Genuine went on the set.
Hmm.
And I mean, it was a great show, sold out show. Everybody was there. It was lit. Um, and I performed, and I waited around, and then Rocky did his thing, and then after Rocky,
Hmm.
you know, Genuine comes into the show. He didn't even show up until the end. You know what I'm saying? He literally got
Right.
off the plane, came to the event, got on stage, did his thing, and left. But he
Hmm.
hung out in VIP for a little bit afterwards. And me and Rocky was together talking and chopping it up and stuff because um, I had a newfound respect for him. At first, I didn't care for him because we both were competitive and we both were R&B, and somebody had to, we was trying to base each other up, trying to, see
Yeah,
each other.
yeah.
But afterwards, we found a newfound respect for one another, and so we was hanging out. And Genuine comes by us. We're in the VIP section, and Genuine scoops him up and takes him down, and ends up, he says what's up to me, and shakes hands or whatnot. But him and Rocky end up going into the separate area, the locked
Hmm.
off. And I told Rocky like me and Rocky have always been respectful to one another, but like recently when I had him on the show, I told him, I was like, "Yo, bro, like, to be honest with you, like, I didn't like you because you got that chance and I didn't." But I told him,
Hmm.
like, it wasn't that. It was just, I was bitter because I didn't get it. And so I had to
Hmm.
apologize to him and tell him, like, he's one of the hardest working dudes in the business right now. You know what I'm saying? He
Yeah,
stay moving. That's my guy.
man.
You know,
And that's huge, brother. That's huge. That's a beautiful story.
at some point in this thing called life, and doing music, there's always going to be someone that's trying to get to where you're at, and instead of being bitter and upset and hating on others, like, that's the one thing. I don't know if you feel the same way, and we can conversate about this a little bit, but
Hmm.
I ran into a lot of cats here in our state that are not really for each other, but against one another. Do you feel like you've seen a lot of that over the years here in Washington, where we have such a gold mine for music, but we'd rather do it individually than do it together? Have you witnessed any of that along the way since you've been in the biz?
I would say, and not to be too critical, you know what I mean, but you also got to look at the history of it all. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I'll
yeah.
say this, say it without saying too much. I think there has been a lot of opportunity that have come in and out of the Seattle Tacoma area.
Yes.
Um, that ego has diluted. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? That said, that's something that I've championed myself on, is not to be the ego driven gatekeeper.
Right.
If you show me, if we work together
Mhm.
and you show me professionalism, you know what I mean, and a good name, it's easy for me to refer you to opportunities while still keeping, what I'm saying, the sanctity of my name and business. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that's really what it boils down to, is like, nothing is given to any of us. You know what I
Absolutely.
mean? And if an opportunity is forwarded, you know what I'm saying, it's incumbent upon me not only to make myself look good, but to the who made the referral. I want to make them look good as well. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because you want to be sure that their word carries on. You know what I mean? In case there's other opportunities, you don't want to be the individual that shows up and doesn't perform like you're called to do, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's two sides to that to me. You know what I mean? Like there are the gatekeepers, and there is a laziness and an entitlement. You know what I mean? That it's like like, just because
Yep.
you got something, I should have it too.
Absolutely.
My brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? Where's your faith in your works? You know what I mean? Like, let
Yeah.
me see something, and that's it. You know what I mean? And then if that kind of makes you run with your tail between your legs, and I already know what I need to know.
Yeah, yeah. Good words. Love that. So
Mhm.
let's talk about this. I'm not even going off the script, bro. I
Hey,
don't-
man, it's a conversation. This is what it is. We flowing. We
yeah,
flowing. That's it.
conversation. So let's talk about some of the artists that you have met within the last 3 to 5 years. what are some who are some artists that we should be listening in, checking out, watching for 2024, 25, even
Man, locally, man, you already
yeah,
said
we're
one,
talking
Rocky
local.
Sandoval. Rocky Sandoval, for sure, man. He's like, if I was to say somebody who's doing it in a level that's like admirable, Rocky Sandoval, I gotta say Zach Bruce.
Okay,
Zach Bruce is the crooner of the town. Like he's my guy. Tamika Williams. Tamika
okay,
Williams is another. Tiffany Wilson, of course, one of my favorites. Um, Let me see, Talaya, young Talaya, Paris Alexis. She's filthy too. She's heck of dope. Um, what's my guy's name? Ooh, and I know him too. And I know him too. I just can't think of his name. Ah, and I'm just upset that I'm just not off the top. I don't even want to go look on my phone to find it. I'm just irritated.
oh, you
But
good.
oh
So
man,
what you saying is that we aren't dead yet. R&B is still alive. Music is still alive. We're still gonna see hits from up and coming artists.
that's the thing. It's like it's in the water. It's here. It's
Okay.
here. You know what I mean? I believe that, of course we can do a better job supporting each other. You
Yes.
know what I mean? Like, if you see a local act that you might like, get that ticket. You know what I mean? Or, you know what I'm saying, if you're promoting an event with a national artist, talk to one of these young local artists, you know what I mean, that can open up, you know what I mean? But it's like it really takes a village to build. It really
Absolutely.
takes a village to build. And it's like, like I don't think R&B has ever died in Seattle. It's just, looking for that light, you know,
Yeah.
concrete roads, if you will.
What about nationally though?
Nationally? Oh, wow.
Because we know who the local artists are around here that are doing well and elevating, but what about nationally? Are
Mhm.
we still seeing any R&B, or is R&B dying, slowly dying?
You can't really say that with people like, saying Anderson .Paak and her, you know what I mean? Like those 2
Yeah.
are at the top of the list to me just because of their musicianship and showmanship. You know what I mean? No, not at all. You see Tank always releasing good music, you know what I mean? Like you see man, it's like when they all like come to you at one time, it's like a word vomit.
Yeah, yeah.
All of them. Guapole just came out with an album. Um, Eric Roberson is coming out with new music every day, it seems like. You know?
Robertson.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, nationally, it's R&B is definitely out there. It's just you know what I think? I think that now we're looking at it like Afro beats. You know what I mean? I feel like, things are like evolving to
Yeah,
where it's like, of course, saying, yeah, yeah, Neo Soul, was prime in its time because it was a melding of different genres into one. You know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
And it carried for a good couple of years. You know what I mean? A good couple of decades, I'll say a good
definitely.
few decades. And now, things are progressing to where like you're starting to see your Tams, so I think is amazing. And you're starting to see, you know, you can't not say Chris Brown, bro. Like what are you thinking, man? He's still
He,
killing it. He's still
he,
killing it.
he,
What can you say? What can you say? Sensational.
yeah, you can't say nothing about him because he does.
Yeah, I mean you could, but I mean at the same time he's smashing.
He's
He's
killing
killing it right
it.
now. He's killing it right now.
All right,
But yeah,
so
no, yeah. It's a lot out there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Music is still alive, you guys. Just so you
Mhm.
ain't going. So let's
Right.
talk about. I mean, because for me, I don't do this without asking the question about faith. How is your faith? Because yes, we are stepping into a realm of music that may not be faith based, but how is your faith?
I think I touched on it earlier, what I'm saying? Like, what is faith without your works? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And I'm a firm believer. I'm not what you would call a religious, but I'm definitely more so relationship. Me and God converse all the time. You
yeah,
know what I mean? And it's like, it's an open line. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, uh, I don't even got to pick up the phone, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like it's When to be honest with you, I don't know where I would be without the mindset that God is everything to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes that's
Hmm.
what it is. It's about the conversation. The relationship that you have with him is more important than, me going out and sharing it with the world. Just, having your conversations and making sure that, he knows you're here and he's there, and, meeting in the middle. I mean, that's more important than, hey guys, I got God in my life.
Yeah, I saw a meme the other day that said like there's a whole lot of people who are churchy and not too many people who are Christy, and I don't
Oh,
like that.
that's interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you could look the part, you know
Absolutely.
what I mean, but you could tell right off bat if you're really playing the part. So
Absolutely.
one of
All
those
right.
things.
Yes, yes. So let's talk about something that's really important to me, and obviously it's important to you as well. The youth, youth empowerment, anything that involves uplifting our youth today. How important is that to you and your journey?
Well, and we can specifically talk about our kids, our young black and brown boys and girls,
Mm,
our children of color. I think presence is important, representation is important,
mm,
um, and these kids are due the opportunity to view the world through different perspectives.
mm,
You know, and in working with kids for the better part of a decade now, I've had the opportunity to um, help guide them in their journey in learning and understanding their social and emotional well-being.
mm,
Um, Also working, with staff directly on how they respond to behavior and being sure that we are implementing positive behavior practices,
mm.
positive behavior reinforcement practices.
Absolutely.
Um, really accentuating the strengths of our kids, and recognizing behavior as a mode of communication rather than something that is punitive or to be looked down upon.
Mm,
You know, because
absolutely.
a baby cries because they don't know how to speak the words to let you know what's going on. And there's science to show that there's different cries that communicates what a baby needs, right?
Mm,
So as communication becomes elaborate, a lot of those cries come in the form of behavior, you know what I mean, or you know, unexpected or adverse behavior choices, right?
yeah.
So with that, if we approach that as adults, as educators, if we approach that, um, like I said, as a mode of communication rather than something to answer as punitive, because what we don't want to do is have our kids, our black and brown kids, grow up in a space to where they can't safely express their emotion without feeling that they have to retract. Because at that point, where do we allow our kids to feel safe to be themselves?
True.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You know
True.
what I mean? So it's like like there's a way to express your emotions in a way that helps you advocate for yourself
Mhm.
and also be in a place to be guided on the right way to go. So that's what I mean, and that's my approach on youth empowerment. They're helping these young ones understand it's okay to feel. It's okay to feel, and it's also important to understand that what you're feeling affects the way that you respond to stimulus or the way that you know react to a situation.
Reaction is huge too, especially in today's society. I mean, obviously, we're seeing a lot of things on TV, on our phones, internet,
Hmm.
with reactions and the proper versus improper ways to react to certain things said or done. And so, yes,
Well, it's
absolutely.
simple. It's simple because you have to discern what is a reaction and what is a response. A
Mm,
reaction is a knee jerk situation. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like you get hit and you're gonna automatically want to swing back. You know what I mean?
right.
Or somebody, or a response is somebody bumps into you
Yeah.
and you make sure that what I'm saying, like it wasn't. You check your surroundings first. You know what I
Right.
mean? And decide what the proper response would be, right? Take a breath and take a moment. I think that's the difference between reacting and responding is that you're allowing yourself a moment to think.
Mm,
You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure.
Like it's a lot of kids out here, what I'm saying, like not thinking. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
like you just going straight off of emotion and not allowing that emotion to be a stimulus of information. Like something happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Therefore, what should I do? You know what I'm saying? To come out of this, you know what I'm saying, safe, but at the same time, make sure that my boundaries are advocated for.
Mm,
Right?
yeah. Answers.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Facts, though. I mean, I I was watching something a little bit earlier, and when it comes to you said reaction versus response,
Hmm.
I was watching, you know, highlights of a basketball game. I don't know if you've seen
Hmm.
it, South Carolina versus LSU.
Okay.
And, at their end of the game, there's 2 minutes left in the game. LSU is losing, and one of the LSU guards has the ball stolen, and she gets upset and bumps the person. And so
Hmm.
other girl from way down the court from South Carolina comes and pushes the girl. The girl's 6'7", pushing a 5'5" girl, and she goes
Right.
flying. And there's a big old scuffle.
Hmm.
It's like those emotions. It's like the response versus the reaction. You guys are winning the game. That she's kind of in her emotions. Like
Yeah.
you have to be the bigger person and think before you react. And just it was just a domino effect of things where some of these things are learned behaviors that they may have seen or they may have experienced versus actually thinking about it and being like, you know what, I feel her pain. You just had the ball stolen. There's 2 minutes left in the game. It was an opportunity for you to score to get back in the game, and it's no longer there. But it's 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 evaluating those type of situations because they're going to happen in not just on the basketball court, but in life. Where
I'm
someone
like,
is
yeah.
like the way you do something and they're going to react a certain type of way. Shoot, we hear it all the time, we see it all the time. People may not like the fact that I'm having a conversation with you, but they may peek on it and watch us for a second and then go and tell their friends, hey, don't go watch that because he's
I'm
talking
not good now. But guarantee those people are watching the whole thing.
yeah,
They're watching the whole thing. They want to see.
yeah. But I mean it absolutely
Uh,
is a thing that we have to do is continue to educate our people about
yeah.
how to deal with all these different scenarios that we as adults have already went through that they're going to experience growing up. And absolutely, I'm 100% down to be a part, an asset to and to their their growth. Like yesterday I had my daughter. She was on here. She's 14 years old, and she was the youth of the month for March.
Nice.
And she went through a lot of struggles to get where she's at, but it's all about teaching them how to deal with those type of scenarios where maybe they're dealing with a bully. My daughters they're mixed, and they've dealt
Mhm.
with that opportunity, that those ideas of people frowning down on them because they are mixed children. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, that's something that I've tried to instill in them that when those people come a calling, you say nobody's home. You go the opposite way because all they want you to do is react, so they can give them an opportunity to respond. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And so, life is crazy, but
Life is crazy because it. I guess to that point, it's like you try to teach. that response. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
try to chase advocacy, but
Mhm.
the reality of life is like a lot of people aren't going to respect your boundaries. You know
No,
what I mean? And then
absolutely.
I just say even Jesus put the table or two. So it be like that sometimes. You gotta
Yeah.
gotta do what you gotta do.
You can only go the opposite say
You
opposite
know what I mean?
so
I
long,
mean,
and
like
then
how many cheeks you know say you gonna turn? You know what I mean? I don't got too many.
right?
Yeah.
So let's do this. Let's talk about what's going down with you moving forward. What you got planned for 2024? What can we watch out for? Obviously the album's coming, you're working on that. We got any shows that we
Yes.
can watch out for? Like let us know what's next.
Yes, the album is being formulated right now. I know people tired of hearing me say that, but you know what? That's just art. It be like that sometimes.
No,
You
it's all
know,
good.
it does. And then the tour schedule is being formulated as we speak. And as soon as that's out there, of course, I'll be blasting my whole social media with that
Yeah.
information. So yeah, it's a good time. Right now, we're just in the school year working with these kids. You know, and I got some pleasure planned. That's about it.
Well, hey Jay,
Yeah.
I appreciate you for coming on and like sharing this moment with me. A little bit of time just to talk about you and the things that you have gone through and the moments that have changed your life and kind of shaped you into the person that you are today. A very intelligent, very well spoken individual. I appreciate you so much for this opportunity. What can if someone was to ask you, um, what you wanted people to remember about J. Charles, what would you say?
I would say, don't let the smooth taste fool you. That's what I would say. But no, if anybody can remember anything about me, just that I came and I try to do my best to positively impact everybody I come around.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Good
Yeah.
stuff. Good stuff. Well, you know what? Hey, if nobody else out there has any questions, I haven't got any questions yet, so we're gonna go ahead. What's up, Barbie? Go ahead and close up shop, guys. You know, no, next Monday, actually. Next Monday, I'm going to be with a young brother that I met. Sheesh, 11 years ago, I met him when I was in school doing my internship at a place called Reach Tacoma, a place that was built for kids from 13 to 21 that was experiencing homelessness. I met this young man there and uh, took me under his wing and showed me the ropes. And he is currently signed up to try to become the Pierce County. Damn, Pierce County Council member. That's what he's doing. I apologize for that. But his name is Rodney Robinson. He will be on next Monday, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you guys tap in, tune in, come and share the conversation with us. We're going to talk about what he's been up to since the Reach Center to now, and what his goals are in being a council member. That's a really big deal for someone look like us. So we'll be back next Monday. Thank you guys so much for being a part of Circle Talk for the day. Thank you again, Jay Charles. Appreciate you, my guy.
Thank
Y'all
you,
have
brother.
a blessed rest of your day. Peace.